Hello Stampers, welcome to the craft room. Today I'd like to show you how to make this bulletin board using your ribbons and other supplies you might have in your craft room. We're going to begin with a piece of foam core board. This piece is 12 inches by 12 inches. And then we're also going to take a piece of cork, and this piece is also 12 inches by 12 inches. And we're going to use some hot glue to adhere these together. I'm going to put my hot glue on my foam core. And just adhere that right down. Okay, the next thing we're going to need is some fabric and also some batting. I have this Deck the Halls Designer Series fabric and also some batting here. These aren't attached yet, I just cut them. They're probably about 15 inches by 15 inches each. And we're just going to lay them right over our cork. Let me flip this so that you can see what's going on here. So you can see there's some room on the edges here that I've left, and that's going to allow us to fold things over. And again, I'm going to use the hot glue to just adhere the batting first to the back of my foam board. And you just want to press that down. And I'm actually going to do the opposite end next. And the next thing we're going to do are the edges. I like to actually trim my edge before I go ahead and glue that, just so I have a little bit of a straighter edge. So I'm just going to miter this edge a bit. And if you wanted, you could cut this little extra piece here off as well. And we'll just adhere that down. Okay, and you want to pull nice and taut. The next thing we're going to do is the exact same thing with our fabric. Here you want to just make sure that you pull the fabric nice and taut. I haven't gone ahead and ironed my fabric. You may want to do that before actually using your fabric, but I'm going to try to pull it taut enough so that I don't have to do that. And before I adhere it down, I'm going to go ahead and cut my corners just a bit so I don't have a lot of extra fabric. Okay, now that I've cut the edges of my fabric, we're going to go ahead and use the hot glue and adhere that fabric down. And I'm going to do the exact opposite end next so that I can pull it really taut. Okay, I'm pushing and pulling. And I'm pulling really tight. And I actually am going to cut these corners a little bit closer. Let's start with that corner, just pulling really tight here and pressing that down so I have a nice corner. Then I'm going to do the same here, kind of tucking that corner in. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'll add my hot glue You want to be careful. Hot glue is hot. And again, pulling nice and taut and adhering that down. And then finally coming in here and pulling nice and taut on that piece. Okay, and I'm just going to see how I'm doing on this side. So I just want to make sure that when I glue this last side down that I really pull nice and taut so that I can get rid of that crease that's running down the fabric. So we're going to go ahead and really pull hard and get this corner down first. And then we're going to come and tuck this corner, and again pulling nice and taut. And then for the last bit, again we're going to pull this really tight and adhere that down. Now if you want, you can absolutely put a piece of chipboard on the back at the end. We'll get to that once we finish the front of our project. So here's our board so far. The next thing we're going to need is ribbon. And I'm using basic gray satin ribbon. And your pieces are going to vary in length depending on your placement. So I just like to kind of lay things out and then snip the ribbon. You want to leave some extra ribbon since you're going to have to wrap it around the back of the board. But here you're just laying out your ribbon as you think you will like it. Once you have your ribbon spaced out as you like it, I actually like to come in with some thumbtacks and just go ahead at these intersections and press the ribbon into the board. Don't worry, these are going to be replaced by something much more attractive and decorative, but for now it helps us hold down the ribbon so that we can glue it properly. And you want to make sure as you're doing this to your ribbon that you're pulling your ribbon nice and taut. And once you feel comfortable with that, it's time to begin securing your ribbon to your board. So I'm just going to take this one piece as an example, and I'm holding it nice and taut, and I'm just going to put some of my glue down and place that ribbon down. Again, pulling nice and taut as you're doing this. And we have a visitor in my video. This is Willow, the cat. And she likes to come and join me for my crafting projects, sometimes a little too closely. There's actually a great window here in the craft room that she likes to look out of. So we're just going to go ahead and adhere all of these ribbons down. I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, now that all of the ribbons are hot glued down, I want to show you how to make these little studs for the intersections. I actually am just taking some upholstery tacks, and I also have some half pearls. These are retired half pearls, and I never kind of knew what to do with them, but this is a perfect use for them. And all I'm going to do is put a tiny, tiny dab of hot glue on the end of that upholstery tack, and then go ahead and just adhere that to the center of that half pearl to make my own tack. Now you could buy regular silver bulletin board tacks and decorate them however you want. I was just trying to look around the craft room for things that I already had. And then these, you could either hammer them in or just use your strength and push them right into these intersections. And I'm going to go ahead and do them all. I'll be back. And there you have it, a really cute bulletin board. You can now slide different ephemera, photographs, old stamps, letters from loved ones in all of your ribbons. I hope you've enjoyed learning this project, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon here in the craft room.